Hello everyone, I'm PJ.
I'm Big Daddy J.
Welcome to Coffee Chat. Pull up a chair, get a cup of coffee, join us for chat. So what did you do this week?
I've been working on videos and alternative lighting sources.
Oh yeah?
Yep. Would you like to see?
I would. What have you been up to? Let's see.
Well, I watched a couple videos and got this idea from about making a candle or an oil lamp, however you want to look at it. It's not exactly a candle and it's not exactly a lamp. This jar contains corn oil. Your cooking oil, like for your frying needs and things like that. No special jar. It's a happens to be a roasted red pepper jar. I took and made a bracket, wire, actually a wire bracket, made out of
Coat hanger?
Coat hanger, yeah. What I've done is fashioned it to fit down in the jar. Created a loop here using the nail, wrapped the wire around the nail, and then the cotton wick, which is made out of butcher's twine, run up through the eyelet right there, so that it hangs just a little bit over the oil. The braiding of the wick was not my doing, my daughter did it. What happens is you light the oil, or light the wick, and that spot in the oil gets hot enough that the oil will start burning. But the rest of the oil in the jar remains cool, so you can pick it up, move it around. Also, another key thing about that oil staying cool is it won't burn while it's cool. So the surrounding oil, if it gets sloshed, will actually put out the flame, which is a great thing to have, a great fallback safety for children and her. But that's just one of them.
Just one?
Yeah, just one.
Well, let me ask you, if you don't have the corn oil, can you use fat rendered from rabbit or deer or whatever you have on hand?
Yeah, you can. I've seen videos on deer tallow being used as a light source. They drop a mold of wick down into it. It's more solid, like a lard. It puts off a bright light from what I've seen. I haven't used it myself, but I would like to use rabbit fat, render it down. However, rabbit's pretty lean and there's not a lot of fat, so it's going to take a little while. As soon as I get enough of it built up and give it a try, I'll let you all know how it works. But I actually plan on making, I don't know, about 4 or 5 more of these, seal them up, and make a good light source for, like, if your power goes out, snowstorms, whatever the case may be. But that's one of my projects. I have another one that you might recognize that I've been working on still.
The old gasification stove.
Yeah, the gasification stove.
Looks a little different. It's not quite so shiny.
Yeah, we got a couple good burns out of it. It's I've added some more air holes to it, or actually enlarging the air holes for the makeup air. And on the inside, if you'll look, there's more holes in the bottom of the burn chamber. I don't know if you guys out there can see it or not, but like I said, I'm making up some videos to explain it better, and we'll go from there. With the better burn, I've also done an add-on to it. Everything I've got, I prefer to have a dual use for, as I'm into having less meaning to do more, or having less means more. Without this and a grate on it, it's for cooking. This is to trap some of the heat. It still has holes up here, and this should create a second burn chamber, and it should get hot and disperse the heat.
Like a space heater?
Like a space heater. It's this is, like I said, this is a prototype, a small version of it. If everything works like I want, I'm going to make a larger version. And this ring here, although I expect it to get hot when the test is done, I haven't tested this part yet. You'll be able to pick it up, probably with a pair of pliers, and put your fuel down in it. But we'll, next couple of days, we'll give it a run, get some video on it, and get back to you on how the heater part works. And if it works out real good, I'll solidify its construction so it don't lean too much.
What kind of fuel are you using in there?
This, like other gasification stoves, and a lot like the rocket stove, uses basically a lot of your yard waste, the trimmings off of your trees. This is from our 2012, just one stick off a tree. Yeah. Yeah. What I do is I take this, and I prefer it a little shorter for this stove, but on the full build, this will probably be alright length, and we'll bust it up. For demonstration purposes, being this is so small, I try not to, don't use my hatchet on it, because, well, my hand's there, so a good hunting knife or a good utility knife, lay it across it in such a manner, and then take a baton, which would be a wooden stick, and smack the end of your knife. By doing that, you put your knife down in the wood. And the reason why I use a wooden baton, not a hammer, is I don't want to damage the knife. If it's a knife you care much about, then I don't recommend a steel on steel, because then you can create a vibration, and you know, I try to avoid it the best I can. Just for my own personal reasons, I figure the wood baton will give and not hurt the knife. But you can do a lot of splitting with one. And
so if we're out hunting and cold front comes in, is this gonna heat the tent up enough to keep us warm?
yes, on an 8x8 or a 10x10, it would definitely increase the temperature inside, especially if you had it batted down and everything real good. I prefer a little bigger one, but if I can trap this heat and make it radiate, I feel very confident that it'll do it. Actually, if you can huddle over a alcohol stove and stay alright for a while, this will do the trick much better. This much wood gets me about a 15 to 20 minute burn, and I mean that at that point it still leaves good coals in the bottom, and all I have to do is add that much more wood again. Now if you've got what would be seasoned wood but it's been rained on or snowed on, I'm thinking that with your cooking grate you can turn this over, drop your damp wood inside, and you'll create a drying port for it. Now, you are going to get some flames up in there, and you very well could catch, if you leave it in there and didn't pay attention, you could catch a fire, but anything to get it dried and help you along in those conditions. So,
You have been busy this week.
I have been busy. I've been moving along with the projects and the videos and trying to stay up on it. Now, I got the old ugly stove out of the way because you're much prettier to look at.
Well, thank you.
What have you been up to this week?
Nothing quite that ingenious, but I got Christmas Town packed away. Super glued, wrapped, boxed, shipped to the basement, all gone.
I'm proud of you.
Not a single piece left.
You get not a single piece. All of it.
It's all super glued it all back together and sent it to the basement.
How's your fingers looking? Attached?
That's fine.
That's what I thought. Kind of looks like they moved together.
Hey. Been planting the garden.
Cool. Still planting the garden?
Yeah, I'm still planting. I got my seeds all ready to order and been looking through the catalogs, picking out seeds, getting them ready to order, and ordering, trays and everything I need. A couple of 2-inch net cups and
net cups?
Yeah.
What do you need net cups for?
Net cups.
What are they used for?
Well, I'm going to do a little experiment.
Oh, brother.
I need the net cups so I can put them in a lid of a little plastic tote.
In the lid of a plastic tote?
Mm-hmm.
What have you got going across your blonde pea picking mind?
I saw a simple hydroponic system I want to test out. Experiment with, play with.
What's it called?
I believe it was the Crafty method or something like that.
What? Cratchit?
Crafty.
Crafty. I have to take your word on that one, huh?
I wouldn't lay odds on it because I'm not sure about that either, but it wasn't my idea. I just saw one on YouTube and I thought I'd give it a try.
But those tomatoes from the store, aren't they hydroponic?
I know. I said I would never do hydroponics.
But I don't like hydroponics.
I know. I've always said. Actually, I'm gonna try some lettuce with it. And my idea is lettuce is mostly water, so if it's growing in water, it's not likely to lose much flavor.
Well,
it's an experiment. I can test it. If it doesn't work, I don't have to do it again.
I guess I'll just have to sit back and watch. But
well, that's what you do best.
My theory is get dirty or go home.
I generally agree with you. I just wanted to experiment, have something to do, keep me entertained a little bit longer.
I see. All right, well.
I also realized we have a patch of grass outside that's pretty sunny.
Yeah, that's the only way our boy can earn his weekly allowance. You're not talking about taking his money away from him, are you?
He can weed eat around my new garden beds.
I thought that's what the extra wood chips was for. Got her on ropes now, boys.
I'm sure he can help me in the garden. I'll make sure he earns his money.
But you've not even kicked the tires on the new additions we put on in fall.
Well, I don't even have them finished yet. Still got quite a bit of work to do to those.
And you want to add more before you're done with the last batch? Come on now.
Just an idea.
Oh, okay.
But I do need more garden beds.
Yeah.
I'm out of space. I was drawing up my plans and not quite enough room to do everything I want. So anyway, there's some sunny patches out there. I'm thinking about putting a couple more beds out. Small beds. Little beds. You won't even notice them. Yeah, you won't even notice them.
Right. Okay, whatever. You're digging a hole and it's getting deeper.
I talked to a guy at work.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you talk to him about?
Believe it or not, we were talking about gardening. Gave him some seeds.
Well, good.
Yay!
Always
we're
like
about
good.
halfway there. We got a few more to give away, but we're getting there.
Every seed you give away is one blessing passed on.
Yes, sir. Anyway, we were talking about gardening, and he and his wife have been gardening for a while now. They try to grow as much of their food as they want, and we were discussing that. And the conversation got interesting because he wanted to know, since this was my first year, or our first year, why we got into gardening or homesteading. So we got into a lengthy conversation about diabetes, which, you know, for me, that's why I originally got into gardening. Was 6 years ago I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which, for those that don't know, that's when either your pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin, or your body can't use that insulin effectively, and so your blood sugar levels are too high. And when I was first diagnosed, I did a lot of testing. Eat something, test my sugar. Eat something, test my sugar.
Yeah, I remember.
Tested constantly. You know, the doctor said 4 times a day, and I was testing every time I ate.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know what foods I could eat and which ones affected me negatively. That way I could control my sugar better. Well, during this testing stage, the tomatoes, I realized, or it became apparent, that when I bought, our typical tomato from the grocery store, commercially grown tomato, I couldn't eat them. They would drive my sugar up almost high as orange juice would. I mean, they were bad, and I just couldn't eat them, not without an adverse effect. But then I realized that when, I ate a garden tomato, my sugar didn't go up, or if it did, it was minimal. And that got me to thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. And so I started testing with other foods and come to realize that carrots are the same way. If I eat them commercially grown, they drive my sugar up. But if they're organically grown, ripened fully on the vine, they didn't drive my sugar up all that bad, or at all sometimes. So it got me to thinking, and I come up with a theory, and it's just a theory.
Oh, she's been thinking.
It's just a PJ thought. But I wonder if, because the commercially grown produce, first of all, is treated and altered so that it would grow faster and produce more, that being one key factor, and two, and I think the main factor for me, is because it's picked green or not fully ripe. They do that, of course, so that they could get it to you in a timely manner without it going bad. But by doing that, I'm wondering if the natural sugars that's naturally in the food aren't reaching full development. I like to refer it as hardened sugar and softened sugar. When it's still green, it's like a hardened sugar, and then when it's fully ripe, just right before it starts going bad, you got your green fruit that ripens up, and after it ripens, then the decline starts and it eventually rots. Well, I'm thinking that when it gets to that peak, the sugar is softened. That's the only thing I know how to describe it. The sugar is fully processed and ready to eat. It's edible. And I think, for me, when it's picked green or not fully ripe, my body has a harder time processing that sugar. But when it's coming off the vine fully ripe and fully mature, my body doesn't seem to have a problem processing it, because my sugar is so much lower off of a garden produce than it is a commercial produce.
Well, last year should have been a good example of that.
Well, and yeah, I went all summer long 5, 6 months, I had non-diabetic normal sugar levels all summer long. And here it is, wintertime already again, and the garden's laid to rest, and the garden food is gone, and once again we have to rely on commercially produced produce.
Right.
The sugar's creeping up again.
Well,
I mean, it's a theory. I would be interested, if there's other diabetics out there that has experienced this, that commercial foods affect your sugar in a more adverse way than, homegrown. If other people has experienced this, I'd like to hear about it. And
yeah.
if not, I'd encourage you to try it and see. It appears to help me. Give it a try. See if it helps your blood sugar levels.
Yeah, well, and then this summer, keep track of it again and use that as your second example.
So, why do you homestead?
Oh, I got several reasons, but you're a good looker and I wouldn't want to disappoint you. No, I got into it. One of the first and main reasons is the amount of work that's involved with that compared to the amount of work that's involved with the job. We used to be contractors, and we're talking 80, 90 hours, sometimes 100 hours a week.
140.
That's on the job plus the paperwork after the job's done, and conversing with the general contractor and things. That's a lot of hours put in, and it pulls you away from your family. Makes it to where you are not always there when you need to be, or can't take care of this, or you have to lean on them more to do things that you'd like to do yourself for them. And I got to thinking, man, if I'm going to put in this amount of hours to provide a living for my family, then why not put it into a situation where we're working on the homestead or working on a farm and put that amount of time into that with the family. That way I can feed somebody like they're supposed to be fed and not let them go off on a rant because they don't feel like cooking. Take care of the kids' needs, help them learn things they need to learn, and basically be there. That's the starting point. Now, don't get me wrong, since then, and with a lot of education on the matter, I've found a lot of other reasons to do it.
Yeah,
self-sufficient, But part of the process of doing this is like the alternative lighting, alternative heating, and things like that. Whenever you're cutting back your time out and about making money and trying to grow all your own stuff at home, then you've got less to purchase the commodities and things. So you've got to spend more time doing it here. So, like I said, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, the more we do here, the less we spend, and the less we have to work.
Wow.
Well, maybe not less we have to work, but the further the money can stretch.
Right. And let's face it, times don't seem to be getting any easier out there. The money's not going as far as it used to, so we're going to have to hunker down and make things go just as far as we can, as long as we can.
And gosh darn it, it just tastes better.
Exactly right. Those came later. I started learning. I knew the tomatoes always tasted better, but I never did really like zucchini in my life, and I started eating garden fresh zucchini, and that changed it for me. I really like them, and
I'm the same way about carrots and beets. I didn't care for them,
right.
But now
squashes of all kinds was for me. Just as long as we don't have any more of that eggplant.
That was a terrible eggplant, wasn't it?
Now, we had eaten some from the farmer's market that was good, but what we got here wasn't.
I think I grew it the wrong time of the year, and I think our soil didn't give it what it needs. And
I think it was stressed because of the heat.
Yeah, that's my theory, but you will be happy to know I did not order those species of seeds this year. I have 3 eggplants ordered and none of them was that species.
Yeah.
So they're all different.
Well, as long as you got me some cabbage going, I really got into cabbage this year too, but oh well.
I have several cabbages on order,
Mm.
different types, because I got to experiment with species so that we know what we like and what grows best and what we have out here. So,
I hear you.
so yeah, I thought about that and got different species of different foods that we eat. Some foods that, as far as I know, we've never eaten before in our lives, but we're going to try.
Sounds like a plan to me. Well, you know what? A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Now what do you got to do?
I got to do, baby. It's that time. It's all empty now.
Thanks for watching, guys. And until we speak again, stay prepared.
And keep smiling.